Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Seeking the Kingdom, and I'm just gonna take you through this next meetup that we're having, and it's actually gonna be a different kind of meetup this time because I'm not preaching this time on Saturday night. JD, the worship leader, he's going to be preaching. After the last message and the worship session we had, he came up to me. He's like, yo, I feel like God's putting something on my heart to share. And I'm like, go for it. I'll cover worship. So yes, I'm covering worship this time. So I'm going to take you through the little lens of how I get prepared and how I do my worship and how I just, flow through all that. So this is the reaction I usually get when I tell people, I'm playing worship. They're like, what? You play worship? You play guitar? And you know what? It shouldn't be, man. It shouldn't be like that. The real what should be, you're preaching? What? You're preaching? Because that's the unusual thing. Anyone who's known me for quite an amount of time knows that, I'm a guitar player at heart. I've been playing on the worship team since I was 15 years old in my church. And this most recently, in the past couple of years, is when I started to take the journey into, trying to preach. I'm not a preacher. I'm just a guy who reads the Bible and shares it with his friends. But yeah, I've taken more of that role lately with the Seeking the Kingdom. So before I get into talking about worship for this Saturday, I gotta tell you about what worship is and has been and means in my own life. Worship has brought me on many paths and many roads and helped me meet many people that are significant in my life, and ultimately it shaped who I am today. I started on the worship team when I was about 15 years old. I remember being so nervous and just going to the church. I remember playing a Green Day song for my audition because that's how out of touch I was with the things of Christ. And eventually I was just playing all the time. We had a new worship pastor, and his name was Pastor Max, and he came in and he kind of just took over and just, bring the worship to a whole new level.
Clap your hands with us. Lift your voices to the King of Heaven. He's alive. He is risen. Jesus Christ. We celebrate.
I learned a lot being on that worship team. There's a few other members there, that just kept me in line and pushed me to be better, and ultimately it just made me a better musician. God was still working on my heart at that time, but musically God was preparing me for something else. Because you see, I used to go to church, I used to play on the worship team every single week, but my heart was a heart of stone. It didn't really want much of God. I just lived the sinful life and I just did stupid things until God opened my eyes one day, and I was kind of getting fed up with life. I was kind of getting fed up with my friends, just going out and doing the same stupid stuff all the time. I remember praying and asking God, just like, hey, God, bring me new friends. This was when I was around 19 to 20 years old, 19. And I was like, God, bring me new friends. Bring me new people. I don't want to do the same stuff anymore. One day I was at Long McQuaid, which is a Canadian music store. I was in line checking out, but I look over my shoulder and I was like, I see this guy that I knew from high school. He was like the Christian guy. And, I was like, oh man, I don't want to talk to him. It's kind of weird. And then he just kept looking at me and he kept looking at me. So I was like, okay, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? I could use a guitar player. If we play some events downtown, if you're ever free, you could come out. And I'm like, sure, why not? I'll play. Nothing else to do. I'm not hanging out with anybody. The guy gives me a call. I go out and I played my first worship in the open of downtown, and it was like nothing like I've ever experienced before. What's going on? We're in the middle of the city at Mel Lastman Square. What's going on? And and then a couple weeks later, he gives me another call. He's like, yo, we're playing Yonge and Dundas in downtown Toronto. Can you come and play? And I remember that day specifically because that's the day I met my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time, but I met her in the middle of Yonge and Dundas with that group. So, worship has led me in and out of so many things. And, that day I met my wife is a day I also met this evangelism group that was worshiping every Saturday night called The Upper Room. And then I started hanging out with these guys from that night after the worship, and I was just like, what is going on? These people are different. They know something that I don't know. I thought I knew about Jesus, but these people really know Jesus. And I just kept hanging out with them and coming, and eventually my heart was being changed. And you see, this is the process God was using to get to me. He's using this journey of worship to bring me to where I needed to be. So this right here, this is an Ibanez. This is my very first guitar. I've never played this one in church. I got this when I was 13. My dad bought it for me, and you can see I kind of tried to do the whole punk rock thing. And this is my acoustic guitar. I don't really play this at all. It's a full size. It kind of hurts my back. Little Martin. Anyone who's played one of these, it is insane and how well it sounds as a full guitar. This was my second guitar I've ever got. It is an Epiphone Les Paul. If you've ever seen me play worship, this is a guitar you've seen me play it on. It's my Fender Jazzmaster Mexico one. This has been the one that's, been all over Toronto and doing all these things. And this is my most recent addition. I just got this about 2 or 3 years ago. It's a Fender Jazzmaster USA. Down here, we have my Squier modified J bass. I don't really play bass that much, but I used to play it often at my old church. So what you want to do is, if you're just starting to pick out your songs or you want to get organized on it, so what I first do is I go to ultimateguitar.com or CCLI or something like that, and I get the chords for the songs that I want, and I'll pick the songs, and you got to pick the keys. I'm more of an E and G key type of guy, so that's where I try to stay. So now that I got my keys and my songs and everything picked out, I'm actually just going to pick up the guitar, plug in for a bit, and just practice and just go through the flow. Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, selfless love of God. So it's about 4 o'clock right now. I'm just on my way to the church to go get set up. Just gonna go there, get ready, spend some time, hang out, take it easy. And I'm excited to lead worship again. It's been a while. It's almost been like a year since I've done it at this capacity. So it should be good. Let's see how it goes. I have some. You have one in your hand?
They're mine, yours.
They're ours, yeah. Alright, what?
Yeah.
Okay, at least both of them are yours.
I think that one's going to the mixer.
And if we truly follow him, we ought to embrace his suffering and his rejection and his death on the cross. And say, it is no longer me, no longer I who lives, but him through me. And now that you are a new creation, he lives through you with the help of his Holy Spirit. And now you can no longer live for yourself. You can no longer stay comfortable. You can no longer contain this good news and this message. And you go and you tell everyone.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, selfless love of God. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs.
So, just got in from Seeking the Kingdom. It's been a long day. I'm tired, but, I'm so excited. I'm so happy about how the night turned out. leading worship for the first time in, I'd say, almost a year. It was great to get back into. It was great to do. It was great to give JD a break. And it was also great for JD to give me a break preaching. His word was so timely, and, just talking about not being comfortable in this Christian life and stepping out and seeking discomfort for the sake of advancing the gospel. So I can't wait to see you guys next time. April 24th, if you're watching this video, you are invited. So come on out. We're going to have a great preacher. We're going to have some great worship. You don't need to be a part of this to be a part of this. Just come and show up. Anyways, guys, we'll see you next month on the next episode. Until then, take it easy.